Jade Cargill is a champion in WWE. New Japan is cooking. It's all here on the Wrestling is Bullshit Report. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Let's talk some pro wrestling. Got that bummy look for you guys today, man. It's Sunday night, had a long weekend, spent some time with family. It was all good. It was all good. Nonetheless, man, we're here to talk some good wrestling. We just got out of WWE Backlash this past Saturday morning. If you're in the US, if you're elsewhere in the world, then you probably watched it in the afternoon. Such a great pay per view, man. Backlash. That crowd in France was on fire. And if you were in the US, you got to start your day with WWE Backlash. And then you got to watch the Canelo fight. And then you got to watch UFC 301 after. Um, really fun day for combat sports. I'm a big WWE and pro wrestling fan, but I do love me some boxing and I do love me some MMA as well. Nonetheless, man, this is a wrestling show. Welcome to the Wrestling is Bullshit Report. Let's get into it, guys. You know how we do here. Let's start with the results. This past Monday night, we had the WWE Draft conclude. Now, not much has changed for Raw and SmackDown from a roster perspective, as only a handful of stars jumped ship or went to the other show. But honestly, while a lot of people are highlighting this as a negative, calling the draft boring, I happen to trust Triple H and the creative team over at WWE. And if this is going to facilitate their success, then this is going to facilitate their success. If anything, I think seeing a couple new faces on the different shows while they still feel familiar after the draft will have a bigger impact for those who are going from Raw to SmackDown, right? Like, we are used to seeing the rosters for Raw and SmackDown after the draft completely changed, like in a big way. However, if there's only a couple faces that go from Friday to Monday or from Monday to Friday, from Raw to SmackDown or vice versa, then I think less is more, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at here, right? Like, who Shinsuke Nakamura, for example, going from Raw to SmackDown, it's going to feel a lot bigger because SmackDown has a lot of familiar faces, a lot. Or the LWO going from SmackDown to Raw, it's going to feel a lot bigger for them because Raw still feels very familiar with faces like Gunther, faces like Seth frickin' Rollins, faces like Main Event Jey Uso. Like, Raw still feels like Raw, and it feels more impactful for the people that have jumped ship because there were so few. Yeah, man, we'll see what happens. Only time will tell how this goes, but nonetheless, man, the rosters for SmackDown are set and the rosters are for Raw are set for the next year. And there is a couple new matchups that we can see. Not that many, but a couple. And I honestly think that there's a lot of matchups to be had, and that's why they didn't change too many things, because they know that there's a lot of stuff that they haven't even tapped into yet with last year's roster. That's why this year's looks so similar. So let's get into it, man. We also had Willow Nightingale retain the TBS Championship against Skye Blue in the Manitoba Massacre, as AEW was in Canada for Dynamite and Rampage. A back-to-back showing here. You got 3 hours of AEW if you watched on Wednesday night. And let me say, man, I had so much fun watching AEW this past week. I think the Rampage main event between Skye Blue and Willow Nightingale was very, very entertaining. Holy shit. I hope Skye Blue is okay, man. That last bump with the barbed wire table, whatever we're calling it, was crazy. Amongst all the bullshit and all the blah, blah, blah on the internet, all I'm going to say is I had a lot of fun watching Dynamite and Rampage. I think the Elite are building themselves to be a super heel faction, and I think they're going to succeed and thrive and eventually, hopefully, win over some more fans. I think the Kenny Omega spot, oh my goodness, while it was stressful to watch, because if you're a diehard fan, you know that Kenny Omega is willing to put himself in danger like that. So to see him take a chair shot with his situation going on like that, oh my goodness. I hope the guy's all right. I hope to see him back in wrestling soon. And I, first and foremost, hope for the health of Kenny Omega. I think he's a really great person first, and then a fucking amazing, fantastic pro wrestler. Second, you can't help but root for the guy. He's amazing. Yeah, man, had a lot of fun with AEW this week, and that's all I'll say about that, honestly. We also had Ricochet winning the WWE Speed Championship. He is the inaugural WWE Speed Champion. And honestly, you could not pick a better WWE Speed inaugural champion. Ricochet is the man. He deserves this. I do think that this WWE Speed show and brand and gimmick and vibe, I think it can work. I really do think it could work because you have guys like Ricochet on the roster. You have guys like Johnny Gargano on the roster. This is everything that the Cruiserweight Championship and the 24/7 Championship should have been, right? I think it has enough legs to be respected and enough going to be fun, right? I feel like the 24/7 championship was never respected. It was fun. I will admit. It was also a little bit stupid in my opinion. And then the Cruiserweight Championship was supposed to be highly respected, but it just seems like they were trying to have too much fun with that division, not really trying to tell stories, not really setting these guys up for success. It feels like the WWE Speed Division show and championship is everything that those two failed projects of WWE in recent years was meant to be. And I'm all for it, man. I'm going to get behind it, man. Ricochet is their inaugural champion. I am very excited. And I honestly hope that they start featuring the WWE Speed Championship on the pre-shows of premium live events because I would absolutely tune in for that, right? I watch so much wrestling that I really don't see myself getting around to WWE Speed, especially at 10 a.m. my local time on a Wednesday. I'm not going to go onto Twitter or X, whatever the hell we want to call it. I'm not going to go onto Twitter and watch this at 10 a.m. I'm sorry, especially because it's a taped show. But if you do have the WWE Speed Championship defended in the pre-show of a premium live event, I'm definitely going to tune into that pre-show, let me tell you. So I really hope to see that, and I really think that that can get fans behind the WWE Speed Championship. Let's go on. Jeff Cobb defeated Zack Sabre Jr. for the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship. Oh, man. If you're a fan of New Japan, then you know Jeff Cobb is the man. Jeff Cobb has got it going on. We get a lot of talk about who the best big man is in pro wrestling. Put Jeff Cobb's name up there. And now he is your new New Japan World Television Champion. I knew I was going to have to say new twice, but no, never mind. I think Jeff Cobb is seriously one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world. And I think it's great to see him with this World Television Championship at New Japan. Definitely check out one of Jeff Cobb's matches. Anytime he defends his title, I will let you know about it on this show, and I highly recommend you check it out. We also have Masha Slamovich and Alisha Edwards winning the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team titles. Cool. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defeating the Kabuki Warriors for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Isn't that so unfair? Doesn't that piss you off that I get more excited for Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill more than I do Masha Slamovich and Alisha Edwards? Isn't that unfair? Doesn't that piss you off? Ooh, I don't care. I definitely think you should still watch TNA. It's fantastic. You heard it here first, kids. Yeah, Jade Cargill wins her first championship in WWE alongside Bianca Belair, who becomes a, what are we calling it? Triple Crown? No. What do they call it? She has won every main roster title on WWE. I do not believe that she has been NXT Women's Champion, but she has won the Raw Women's title, the SmackDown Women's title, and the tag titles. We'll have to see how that works because she was able to capture the Raw and SmackDown Women's titles pretty early on in her main roster career. But sooner rather than later, they ended up changing those to the WWE Women's title and the Women's World title. So I know she has won the WWE Women's title before Io Sky cashed in on her at last year's SummerSlam, but she has yet to win the Women's World title. So maybe that's when they'll call her a Grand Slam champion. Grand Slam champion. That's what they call it. Kind of forgot for a second. Doesn't matter. Pretty cool that Jade Cargill gets to work alongside Bianca Belair as the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I think that this is perfect for the women's tag team division. Remember a year ago when we called those belts cursed? We said, "Oh, look at that WWE Women's Tag Team division. It is just horrid. It's horrible. It's stinky. It's nasty. Ugh. Everyone keeps getting injured." Now, after a great run from the Kabuki Warriors, the titles are in the hands of Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Very intriguing, very exciting. I feel like every single one of their upcoming title defenses is going to be must watch. So it's just really cool to see this tag team division for the women in WWE go from nothing to absolutely something. Man, that's fucking awesome. Last but not least, for the results, a lot of results this week, man. A lot of stuff changing up in the different promotions around the world. David Finlay was able to regain the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship from Nick Nemeth. A big win for Bullet Club. Another big win for Bullet Club in the same night. Kenta and Chase Owens were able to regain the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles from Bishamon, which is Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. Bullet Club once again IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, and David Finlay, the leader of Bullet Club, my dogs for real, able to regain that IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Very cool stuff, man. The thing about Bullet Club is it's for life, so I still support. I know a lot of y'all aren't with me. The ship has sailed on Bullet Club for a lot of y'all, and I really don't blame you. But like I said, the Bullet Club is for life. I did that backwards. Anyway, let's get into the news, man. We got 2 AEW stars injured, unfortunately, man. All I have in my notes, to be completely honest with you, is that 2 AEW stars are injured, but obviously they're not important enough for me to remember who they are. Powerhouse Hobbs is one of them, so I will say Powerhouse Hobbs, he will be missed for sure. I definitely think when he comes back, it's time to reestablish him as a big man. I don't think he needs a manager per se. I think you put him in the ring, you give him a series of squash matches for 6 weeks when he comes back, and then you establish him in a storyline, maybe have him regain the TNT Championship, maybe have him jettison him up to face Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship if Swerve is still champion when Powerhouse Hobbs is ready to return. I just don't think the Don Callis stuff, while I think it was fine, I think you could do more with Hobbs. I definitely think you could do more with Hobbs. So when he comes back, I'm sure Don Callis will have something new up his sleeve, and I doubt that he will return alongside Powerhouse Hobbs. We'll see what happens, man. I wish Powerhouse Hobbs a speedy recovery. We also have MJF having his AEW return pushed back because basically he's just not ready to come back. He spoke with Tony Khan in March about returning, we found out. And then we learned that his return is going to take a little bit longer than expected, which is fine, man. MJF is young. He's great. I think AEW is honestly doing fine without him. Not that they don't need him. I think when he comes back, it's going to be a huge win for AEW. But by all means, I think MJF should take his time healing and be ready to come back at whatever capacity he comes back at. I literally think if he worked a part-time schedule for AEW, he would still be as effective as if he were there full-time. Nonetheless, man, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for MJF to return to AEW. But we do know that AEW is where he'll be returning to with these words coming out of Tony Khan's mouth directly that he spoke with MJF about returning. So nothing is for sure. You know, this is the world of pro wrestling. But for those of you that think he may be going to WWE, for those who think that WWE is the next place that you will see Maxwell Jacob Friedman, you may be wrong. I think he has more time in AEW, and it'll be very intriguing to see what they have for him in AEW. Is he going to go back to being a heel? Is he going to go back to being a babyface? I think he's going to go back to being a heel, but you never know, man. I do think his babyface run before he had to take time off and drop that world title to Samoa Joe, I think that babyface run by MJF was fantastic. I think he's a fantastic babyface. He's a fantastic heel, but holy shit, we didn't expect him to be such a good babyface. So, the possibilities are endless for MJF. He does have a feud with the Undisputed Kingdom, and I honestly think that will be where he ends up. But will he be involved in the AEW World Championship picture? That is what intrigues me. I know he's going to go right for Adam Cole's throat when he's ready to return, but will there be the AEW World Championship on the line between them? We'll find out, man. Honestly, and this is purely speculation on my behalf, if I had to guess when MJF is returning, I think he will return before All In to begin a program with Adam Cole. And we'll see what happens, man. We will see what happens. Next, we had a slew of releases from WWE, and one of them was really intriguing to me. Gable Steveson, amongst many others, were released by WWE. Gable Steveson is a guy that had a future in WWE. When people were asking me in 2020 and 2021 who is going to dethrone Roman Reigns, when people were asking me a few years ago, I said Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, or Gable Steveson. I thought he had such a bright future in WWE. Again, the current creative regime has changed drastically in WWE. So it's not the biggest surprise that it didn't work out. But I thought they would have had something for him, man. To see Gable Steveson released by WWE after ultimately signing with the company, it being a humongous deal. I think Gable Steveson signing with WWE was one of the bigger signings that WWE ever did, up until Jade Cargill came in and blew the roof off the place. I just can't believe we're sitting here so soon announcing that Gable Steveson is released. I thought this guy had a future, man. Now, I know we hadn't seen him on TV. I know he wasn't perfect, but man, what happened? You could have done something with him. Truly, you could have done something with him. This guy wrestled in the NCAA in college, man. This guy, I'm honestly really shocked. I think even a guy like Triple H would try to maximize the asset that is Gable Steveson, but maybe something was happening behind the scenes. We don't know. Maybe he wasn't living up to his potential. Maybe he didn't give a shit. Maybe they didn't give a shit. Maybe the new creative regime just didn't give a shit about what Vince was trying to do with these college athletes. To see Gable Steveson, who was an NCAA college athlete, one of the bigger ones, be released so soon? Oh my goodness, this is crazy. This is absolutely nuts, man. Nobody's talking about this either. You get that unique perspective here. This may not be the best produced show on the internet wrestling community, but I'll tell you what, man. I know my worth, and I know my insight, I know my analysis, and I know my mind for this. It's pretty good. It's pretty unique, in my opinion. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but who the hell is talking about this? This is crazy. Gable Steveson released by WWE? Holy shit. You heard it here, man. This speaks volumes for the future of WWE. In some ways, it speaks volumes for the future of WWE in a positive light. Their priorities are telling stories in the ring and being a pro wrestling show, not necessarily a sports entertainment show. And I'm not saying sports entertainment is a bad word by any means. I know it's been embraced by AEW, the aura of sports entertainment. But I think WWE's future is along the road of pro wrestling more so than sports entertainment. Don't get me wrong, sports entertainment is what makes WWE the WWE. But to see them release a guy like Gable Steveson so early into his contract speaks volumes in kind of a good way. I did think that this guy had potential and I was ready to see what he was made of, but I don't know, man. Let's move on. I've kind of already stuck on this topic for too long. Last but not least for the news, WrestleMania will be visiting Las Vegas in 2025. Next year, WrestleMania will be in Las Vegas. Holy shit, man. I'm going to Las Vegas in a couple weeks for EDC. And they got AEW Double or Nothing going out every May in Las Vegas. Looks like I might have to spend a month and a half in Vegas. Hit WrestleMania, EDC, and AEW Double or Nothing. Just kidding. I don't have that much money, but we'll check in next year and see how I did. No, very cool news, very interesting news, man. WrestleMania going to Las Vegas. I think it's gonna be a special WrestleMania, man. I think Mania in Vegas. Oh my goodness, man. That's gonna be nuts. That's gonna be nuts. Let's predict the main event for WrestleMania next year because we can, just because we can. Haha. I think you got Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE Championship against CM Punk in the main event of next year's WrestleMania. Boom. Boom. Okay. Let's get into the watch list, ladies and gentlemen. I am on one today, if you couldn't tell, but it's better than low energy Matt, right? You guys like high energy Matt, and this is what you're getting. I don't know why I'm so high energy. It's late at night, but I'm excited to talk wrestling with y'all today. Cooking in my hoodie, man. Cozy. We cozy out here, man. Let's get into the watch list, and then y'all can get the hell out of here. Monday Night Raw. We just finished with the WWE Draft, and we will now start the King of the Ring tournament and the Queen of the Ring tournament on Monday Night Raw. You will also see matches for those two tournaments on SmackDown as well. So very exciting, man. It makes Monday Night Raw feel like a must-see show, getting ready for this King of the Ring tournament and Queen of the Ring tournament. That will conclude in Saudi Arabia in a couple of weeks. Very exciting stuff, man. WWE knows they got momentum and they are not letting it go at all. Fucking awesome. They are fantastic. They're fantastic, man. For the next 3 weeks, we got the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. And then 3 weeks after that, roughly, we look forward to Money in the Bank in London. WWE is on another level, and nobody can touch them right now. Nobody can touch them in the ring, on that commentary, or on that microphone. Nobody can touch them. NXT, we got Roxanne Perez defending the NXT Women's Championship against Chelsea Green. Oh my goodness, I did it, didn't I? Oh, yeah, should be a good match, man. Roxanne Perez versus Chelsea Green for the NXT Women's title. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. AEW Dynamite. Adam Copeland defends the TNT Championship against Brody King. He defeated Buddy Matthews. He goes on to Brody King. And last but not least, I'm sure he will meet Malachi Black for that TNT Championship at Double or Nothing. And we'll see what happens, man. Do you guys think Malachi Black is going to beat Adam Copeland for the TNT title? I think it's possible. I think it's long overdue for Malachi Black to get a singles title in AEW. So we'll see what freaking happens, man. If I had to put money on Malachi Black or Adam Copeland, I think I'd go Malachi Black. I'd be happy if Adam Copeland won. I think he's been a great TNT champion. Contrary to popular belief, I've actually really enjoyed Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge. I've enjoyed his work in AEW. I really have. He's been fantastic. He's been great. Malachi Black, though, I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for him to get a singles championship in AEW. So this might be the time. Obviously, it's not going to happen this Wednesday. This Wednesday he's going to face Brody King. So there you go. AEW Dynamite on the watch list this week. And if you guys watch anything this week, watch New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence. That's going to be New Japan Pro Wrestling's show out of the United States. So you don't have to get up at 3 a.m. You don't have to get up at 4 a.m. You don't have to get up at 2 a.m. to watch this show. This show will be running on U.S. time on Saturday evening. And like I said, man, this is must watch. I don't care if you like WWE. I don't care if you like AEW. I don't care who you're voting for in the upcoming election. Fucking watch this New Japan show if you like good pro wrestling. Let's run down the card. New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence. The Mighty Don't Kneel defend the strong openweight tag team titles against the Gorillas of Destiny. Not Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. What's freaking crazy is before the Gorillas of Destiny left New Japan, they created their own faction using their tag team name, the Guerrillas of Destiny. So, oh my goodness, I got to get into this. I'm like New Japan repellent explaining this shit right now. You got Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. They've been known as the Guerrillas of Destiny in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now they're in WWE. But before they left, they brought in Hikuleo and El Fantasmo and considered them part of the Guerrillas of Destiny faction. So now the Guerrillas of Destiny are technically Hikuleo and El Fantasmo, and that is who I'm referring to in this match. Stephanie Vaquer defends the Strong Women's Championship against Alex Windsor. Jeff Cobb defends the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship against Lance Archer. Watch that match. I promise. Watch that match. You'll thank me later. Shingo Takagi defends the Never Openweight Championship against Yuya Uemura. Eddie Kingston defends the Strong Openweight Championship against Gabe Kidd in a no-rope last man standing match. You need some water. I almost spilled that on me. Did I? No, I didn't. I was going to do it, but I half-assed it. Good match. Watch that shit. Last but not least, Jon Moxley defends the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Ren Narita. No, it's against Shota Umino. Sorry. He just defended the title against Ren Narita. I got my shit mixed up. Jon Moxley will be defending that title against Shota Umino. Listen, I understand for a lot of you, you probably don't understand much about New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I just ran down that card, and you probably didn't recognize any names except for like Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. But let me tell you something, man. Watch that show. I think it'll be like $20 for you to watch that show on Saturday evening. It will be $20 well spent. I freaking promise. If you've ever thought about giving New Japan a chance, or even if you completely hate New Japan and swore that you would never give it a chance, guess what? You're about to break that promise, because this show is going to be must watch. Eddie Kingston versus Gabe Kidd in a no-rope last man standing match for the Strong Openweight Championship is money. Jeff Cobb defending the World Television Championship against Lance Archer is money. Even Stephanie Vaquer versus Alex Windsor is going to cook. You may not know what the hell is going on. You may not know a lot of these names. New Japan may not be on your priority list at all as a wrestling fan. But I'm here to tell you that if you watch anything this week, you should be fucking watching that. Okay? I promise I would never steer you wrong. I would never do you wrong, baby. Okay. Let me shut the fuck up and get out of here. That's it for this week, guys. It has been a crazy time to be a wrestling fan, and this is a week to expand your horizons with New Japan Pro Wrestling for sure. And let me make a little announcement here. Not only will we be continuing the Wrestling is Bullshit report, you might not get an episode from me next week, but we will be continuing this series, and it will only improve in quality over time. So jump on the bandwagon now or jump on the bandwagon later. You know, it's up to you. Nonetheless, not only will we be continuing this series, but I am working on something for the casual fans, something for the newcomers, because I understand a lot of you may watch this show, may be new to pro wrestling. On YouTube, I see a lot of new fans of pro wrestling, and it's very exciting to see people get into the niche, get into the art form, and become fans. We're getting a lot of new fans because WWE is just on God mode right now. So I will be working on a video that basically goes over how to get into pro wrestling as a new fan. Not only will it go over how to get into it as a new fan, but it will also, in my opinion, in my vision, give something for you to expand your horizons on, no matter what kind of fan you are. I don't care if you watch everything. You will watch that video that will come out soon, and it will give you something to work towards in terms of being a fan, something to expand upon. So if you only watch WWE, I would probably recommend watching an AEW pay-per-view. If you watch WWE and AEW, I'd recommend getting a TNA premium live event or pay-per-view in. If you watch all three of those, then I'm going to recommend New Japan. And if you fucking watch all of those, I'm gonna recommend Revolution Pro Wrestling to watch British wrestling. Nonetheless, it's gonna have something for everyone. And if you're a new fan, you don't know how to get into pro wrestling, hopefully that video is gonna look a lot cleaner than these weekly shows, which I just pump out. And hopefully it's gonna act as a roadmap for people trying to get into pro wrestling and trying to expand their horizons on pro wrestling. Wherever you're at in your pro wrestling journey, that video is going to serve a purpose and that video is going to help you. All right, guys, let me get out of here. I'm babbling like an idiot, but week in and week out, that's how we do. Hopefully we'll get better. I know I'll get better if I just keep doing this, and I appreciate you watching this, and I appreciate talking pro wrestling with you. So I'll talk to you later, guys.